Also ahead, Director of Legal Affairs for the National Democratic Congress, Eduji Tamaklo, describes EC's decision to disqualify NDC's Amenfi Central parliamentary candidate, Joanna Jan Kojo, as premature, as he describes the party's determination to win that seat.
The position taken by the Electoral Commission is a completely premature decision. Look, Madam Joanna Kojo is going to win that election, and she'll be the next MP.
Meanwhile, Western Regional Communications Officer for the NDC, Kirk Mensah, blames the Electoral Commission for disqualifying their candidate without conducting due diligence on the matter.
As a woman, you are going to have sex with your boyfriend. You go and take postinotum even before the sex comes on. Is that how it is done?
And staff of the Volta River Authority demands immediate withdrawal of the energy bills in Parliament that seeks to merge VRA and Buipa Authority into a single entity. We have details of these and many more. Keep your dial on Starr FM.
Starr News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Cool 103.5 FM in Ho, Rage and Might FM in Tamale, Sonali FM in Wa, My Star Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Starr 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Starr 103.5 FM.
As always, thanks for choosing Starr News. Now, court reporters are demanding justice for their colleague, EIB Legal Affairs correspondent Murtala Inusa. Now, Murtala was assaulted by sympathizers of Prophet Salifu Amaku during a court hearing yesterday while gathering footage of the Prophet. Now, the clergyman was in custody for allowing his underage son to drive without a license. Murtala has been narrating his ordeal. Let's have a listen.
There were some sympathizers who had arrived, and you could see from what is happening that yes, something is happening at the circuit court. So upon getting there, and I gathered information that it is Salifu Amwakun and then the wife who are in the vehicle. So as usual, I decided to get some videos to tell a story that Salifu Amwakun and the wife have arrived at the circuit court premises. And just when I was about to do that, I had some people who are fronting, you journalists, you will not take any video here, you will not take any video here. So I approached one of them and said, look, we are members of the Judicial Press Corps. We have been duly accredited to do our work. So I put off my ID card, my Judicial Service Accreditation card, and I showed to this gentleman. He said, no, once they are coming from the police, what the police said was that it is in the area for the cell you cannot take pictures, and at the police station, when the people leave the police station, those at the premise or those sympathizers cannot protect their interests, so they are not allowing any journalist to take any video of a sort. At the point, I noticed that the lawyer who was supposed to even defend them is a friend, Justice Abdullahi, was a friend. So I spoke to him. I said, "Oh, you are in this case for this time, and your client or your people, the sympathizers, almost assaulted me." And he said, oh, looking at the situation of that, so at the point he spoke to them. So when Salifu Amwakun and the wife were making their way into the courtroom, they wanted to prevent him, but he made a point, and so they stopped. So I was able to get a video of Salifu Amwakun entering the court. After the case was done, he was granted bail, and then they were in the process of executing the bail bond, so we were doing our stories. So immediately information came that he has executed the bail bond. I decided that I was taking the video of Salifu Amwakun leaving the court to tell the story that yes, he's meet his bail conditions and he has been released. Right. Just when I pull off my voice, I heard the sympathizers who came and some of the guys that I can identify say that no journalist is allowed, no journalist here, no journalist is allowed. Before I could say Jack, my mobile phone was smashed for me, hit the ground. And then those guys just pounced on me like that. My attire that I was wearing, they tore it up, and then my index finger, like the blood within me at this moment. And then my right ring finger, there's also a bruise, and then blood is currently coming out. So I have come to the Ministry's police station currently to make a report. So that is where I'm talking to you currently from.
Right.
You heard my colleague Mutala Inusa narrating his ordeal. Very unfortunate turn of events. But we're staying a while longer on this. Let's now engage the president of the Judicial Press Corps, Wilberforce Asare. Wilberforce, many thanks for joining us on Star News. You have covered news from the court several times. What is your initial reaction on this attack on your colleague?
So quite frankly, this latest attack on another one of our journalists in terms of the Judicial Press Corps is quite unfortunate. And we in the Judicial Press Corps totally condemn this particular happening. It was our hope that we would never have such an issue again, especially when we had one recently when Reverend Owusu-Bempah was arraigned before a similar court in the circuit court area. And so having seen the images and the fightings that went on, we really, really want to condemn this matter and to wish that Mutala Inusa recovers fully from all the injuries that he may have suffered during this unfortunate incident. So that will be my initial comment on this development.
You just cited an incident that happened not too long ago. As a court correspondent, are you satisfied with the level of protection at the courts?
Well, so I think that the Judicial Service as an institution has done quite a lot to improve on security and improve on our acceptability as journalists within the court structure and within the court system. The recent Association of Magistrates and Judges Conference, which was held at Labadi, one of the major things that was discussed was security within the court premises, security for judges and security for judicial service workers. We are going to make a case through our parent organization, Ghana Judges Association, that security for journalists should be included in this new architecture that is being designed by the Judicial Service to ensure that everybody who comes within the court premises, from judges to judicial service workers to court users to justice seekers, and now also journalists, are protected and secured whenever they come into the premises of a court.
Thank you so much for joining us. That there is Wilberforce Asare, who is the president of the Judicial Press Corps. Meanwhile, General Secretary of JUSAG, Abdullahi Yakubu, says the association will ensure the culprits are dealt with. He spoke to our sister station, G1 TV.
It was within his right to do so. This was the first time. He has even covered more sensitive cases and from outside the courtroom than what happens. Comment is not allowed within the courtroom. Inside the courtroom, it's not allowed. And outside the courtroom, you are permitted to take footage of whatever that is happening just to guide the news of people to understand the atmosphere behind the cases. What he did, there is nothing wrong with what he did. In as far as we are concerned, and the code of conduct that is given to the court correspondents are concerned, he was well within the ethics and in the law in terms of the coverage that he was doing. It's just unfortunate that some people decided to take the law into their own hands that way.
So, on the part of JUSAC, moving forward, for your journalist of the year, is there any extra action that you're willing to take to make sure that this case is pursued to its logical conclusion and that justice is served?
Sure. So we are looking at the broader comprehensive security systems within our courts. This is not an isolated incident. There are other attacks that are happening on our staff at various courts, and we're taking steps to ensure that attack on anybody, whether a staff or a journalist or a court user within the court, is punished. That is the steps we are taking. And for Mutala, who is usually, you can describe him as the source of news within courtrooms, we find that as unfortunate, and we are going to give him all our support to ensure that whoever is involved in this matter is dealt with in accordance with the law. He has the full support of JUSAC in this trying time that he finds himself in.
Now, in light of the recent assault on EIB Network's Mutala Inusa right on the premises of the court, there are growing concerns about the security measures in place during high-profile cases. Now, this attack occurred in the presence of a handful of unarmed police officers, and in stark contrast to the heavy police presence we've seen in other cases, such as during the recent anti-Galamsey protests. To help unpack the security lapses and implications, Adib Sani, who is a security analyst, earlier spoke to us where he criticized the police for not having enough personnel on the ground.
If these lunatics by the fact that such an assault can happen with police present, yet the assailant is not immediately apprehended. I am very shocked about it. And trust me, and I'm saying this for the record, if these lunatics are not arrested and brought to book, I would never ever respect the police again. Enough of this. Enough. No wonder we keep losing points, in terms of the global press freedom rankings because of issues like this. The journalist is there to do his work at the court premises. I'm not a lawyer, but I do know it's a public space, and he is not doing anything illegal by taking a video or a picture of what was going on. So on what basis would the journalist be treated in this manner? Yes, the police doesn't take action. I think this should stop. Enough is enough. I don't know. I'm not watching TV. I just hope that you have gotten still images of the assailant. And I would entreat you to publish it as far as it can get. So the police act on the matter to serve as a deterrent to other lunatics or would-be lunatics who have turned their trade into attacking, journalists. Enough is enough. And this is very unfortunate. And I'm hoping that the police would give it the importance, the attention it deserves. So we stop people in their track because it's becoming one too many. And we have seen a consistent pattern of such behavior, especially nowhere else but the court. And that is what really shocks me to the very core.
This is certainly becoming one too many, but this unfortunate incident has also generated a lot of conversation on our social media platforms. Nadima Aqua joins us for your thoughts, what you have been saying on this. Hello, Nadima.
Hi, Nadima. People are appalled as we are. When we go straight over to X, Jack says, what was the reason behind the attack? Did he do anything wrong? Well, Jack, according to the account from Murtala, he was in the line of duty. We have
Nadima, before you even move on, should he have done, even if he did anything wrong? That question I don't, because
to what?
Because
what
absolutely
his
it was totally unwarranted.
So Aziz says, if Ghana was a serious country, all these people will have been behind bars by now. Then Milo says, oh, this is very bad and uncultured. When we move over to Instagram, Ms. Dopey says, sorry, Captain Man. So I think maybe a personal friend. Then we also have the next comment, shame on them. 2 innocent lives are lost due to negligence, and this is all they can think of. We also have Sconti, Ghana Police Service, arrest the attackers. These attacks on our media personnel must stop. Makakano says churchgoers, not Christians. Then Dave adds, this happening in court. Sad, sad, sad. And our last comment on Instagram, Zulbab says, only in Ghana that people will fight at the court. Hey. Yes, it's a terrible situation, and we are hoping that those involved will be arrested and charged accordingly. Nadima, back over to you.
Thank you for those comments here at EIB Network. We're certainly not backing down from this until we get some justice for our colleague Murtala Inusa. Now let's head over to the corridors of Parliament, where the minority is piling pressure on the Speaker, Alban Bagbin, to declare seats of 4 incumbent MPs vacant. Now the minority has urged the Speaker to follow the precedents set by his predecessor, Professor Aaron Michael Quay, by declaring Amenfi Central, Gona West, Suhum and Formina seats, whose occupants have all switched allegiance vacant in accordance with Article 97 of the Constitution. This news desk report chronicles reactions that have characterized the minority's move.
The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, is expected to come to a conclusion on the fate of members who have defected their parties to stand independent in the upcoming elections, as well as the independent candidates joining the ruling party. The minority now wants the MP for Agona West, Cynthia Morrison, MP for Suhum, Kojo Asante, Formina MP Andrew Esiama, and Amenfi Central MP Kwache Aka removed over their decision to go independent. One of the affected MPs, Peter Kwache Aka, who had earlier spoken on Morning Star, expressed indifference toward the petition filed by the minority caucus seeking to declare his seat vacant. Speaker of Parliament Bagbin on Tuesday deferred the ruling on NDC's push to declare majority in the House after over an hour of debate by members of both sides of the lawmaking House. But in an interesting turn of events, a member from the minority side, former MP for Kumbungu, Ras Mubarak, in a strongly worded article released on Tuesday, criticized the motion, calling it a distraction from more urgent matters.
Meanwhile, speaking to Starr News ahead of the much-anticipated ruling of Alban Bagbin on the matter, MP for Saboba Joseph Bukari urged the Speaker to stick to the precedents, warning actions must come with consequences.
We have to look at ourselves as being honest people, especially we those who are in the political arena. If honesty is not on our side, nobody will respect or listen to us. And so some things we do, they leave as legacy for us come tomorrow. And so if yesterday somebody behaved wrongly to Ibrahim and was punished, because it was Ibrahim that the fellow was punished, should the fellow do same to Bukari, he should also be punished on the same grounds. So if it was good yesterday, that we had our mouth right beneath our nose to speak straight to who that be. Today it should be the same position the mouth should be and talking, not to be at our occiput and talking backwards. So if the form on which you came to Parliament, you must stay in Parliament to finish that parliamentary sitting or setting. So if you want to now divert or change from that, you should know that in the first place you have vacated your seat, which is normal. So I expect that the Speaker, very experienced as he is, will do the right thing by declaring those is actually vacant. Even though a colleague of mine from the NDC side is part, that shows the honesty with which NDC is dealing with matters. So if yesterday it was a worry to you and you had to throw away one of yours, today you should go by the same principles.
Let's now get you live updates from our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Ibrahim Alassan. Ibrahim, many thanks for joining us. What is the atmosphere in Parliament ahead of the Speaker's, the much-anticipated ruling on this matter?
Well, Nadima, the anticipation is there, but nothing has started yet. Session has not started. Mind you, today is Thursday, and usually President Akufo-Addo holds his cabinet meetings on Thursday. And so the majority leader, who was initially at the program organized by Parliament at the Constitution itself, has left for cabinet meeting. Speaker is also yet to make his way to the chamber of Parliament. And what I'm saying is that session is yet to start, but of course the anticipation is there. But this is expected, Nadima, given the fact that it is a special day and the fact that the matters at hand are quite heavy. It's understandable why there will be some backbone engagement here and there before the Speaker finally makes his way through the chamber for session to start. So to answer you directly, the anticipation is there, but session is yet to commence. But of course, there are expectations from both sides. So when it comes to the majority, specifically Patrick Yabuama, the Member of Parliament for Country Central, his argument is that whatever decision Speaker takes on this matter could be deemed contemptuous. That would be contempt of court. And his reason is a simple one. Alexander Kwamina, the majority leader, has filed some processes at the Supreme Court on these things. Inherent in the processes is an application for an injunction against the Speaker and Parliament from proceeding on this matter until the determination by the apex court of the land. So any decision whatsoever that the Speaker arrives at today will be in contempt of the Supreme Court. If you flip the coin and come to the minority, as you heard Bukari say, they expect nothing from the Speaker but following suit and then sticking to the precedent set by Professor Michael Quay against the then former MP Andrew Amaku Esiama. And they argue that everybody is clear in his mind as members of Parliament, and that if he takes this action, this will be the consequence. And so if they decided to go independent, so they should know that they are vacating their seats as members of Parliament. And that's not lost on anybody. And so they expect Alban Bagbin, the Speaker, to do the needful. So you can imagine the weight of the pressure on not happening at this moment. But like I said, it's going to get to that. Yeah.
Right, but Ivy, have you cited any of the 4 MPs whose seats are currently under contention?
In fact, out of the 10 members of parliament, out of the 220 members of parliament, I could count 11 and 10 in the chamber as I speak to you. So that's to tell you that many of them have not even made their way into the chamber yet, the makeshift chamber at the grand arena of it, like I said.
Right. Right.
Some of them are there, but of course, out of the 4, only 2 have shown their face. Their faces in Parliament since the change regime, and I'm talking about PPP. And the firma who is the second deputy speaker, and then Mr. Aka, the NDC MP for Memphis Central. These are the only 2 who have bothered to come to Parliament.
Right.
I have never told that, and I could just say of Umar as well, as they call it, I never showed up. So
right.
The 2 NPP MPs have never showed up in Parliament.
Right. Grateful for. Ibrahim Alasan is our parliamentary affairs correspondent. Let's do some politics as the director of legal affairs for the National Democratic Congress, Eduji Tamaklo, has described the Electoral Commission's decision to disqualify NDC Samenfi Central parliamentary candidate Joanna Jan Kujo as premature. His remarks comes after the Electoral Commission issued a letter which cited an injunction by a Secondary High Court restraining the commission from recognizing Madame Kujo as the party's candidate. But in an interview with Starr News earlier, the lawyer assured that the party will do its best to turn the situation around.
The position taken by the Electoral Commission is legally untenable. I mean, a completely premature decision. We will take steps and we'll have this matter reversed. We are very confident about that.
When you say that the Electoral Commission's decision is premature, what exactly do you mean? Why is it premature?
The Electoral Commission is based its decision on a purported injunction from a court. The third injunction did not disqualify the candidate. The disqualification is a serious matter. The court, even in secondary, gave an interim order, an interlocutory order. It's not perpetual injunction. And everybody with the appreciation of the law knows what it means to be perpetually injuncted, what it means to have an interlocutory order. So clearly, the electoral, it's like the Electoral Commission, they were in an indecent state to disqualify the candidate. We'll have that remedy.
Does it mean that you would also be heading back to the court?
We'll have that remedy.
He also expressed the party's determination to win the Amenfi Central seat. According to him, Peter Yao Kwachiaka's betrayal won't stop Jan Kujo from winning in the general elections.
Madame Joanna Kujo is going to win that election, and she'll be the next MP.
You are confident even when you have the incumbent also running as an independent?
The incumbent used to be an MPP person. He once went independent. It didn't impact on the election. He contested as an independent candidate before and lost.
Before joining the NDC?
Yes. So a person who had defeated somebody to become MP, parliamentary candidate first, if you are defeated, why should it be a matter that you won't take it and it is either you or nobody? Where from that sense of entitlement?
He says his contender is not qualified.
You see, those who spam kernel have been cracked for them by benevolent spirits must learn to be humble. Ask him the circumstance under which he became our candidate in 2016.
Was he not qualified then?
Who determines qualification? He, Kwache.
I'm sure the party would have its rules.
Please, he came from MPP. And that is why somebody like him should demonstrate magnanimity. Maybe he doesn't know. The NDC has survived worse betrayal. The NDC has seen 3 major parties coming out of it and is still standing. He is the least. He can't bring the NDC down.
Away from politics, concerned staff of the Volta River Authority are demanding the immediate withdrawal of the energy bills in Parliament, seeking to merge Volta River Authority and Bui Power Authority into a single power generation entity. National Chairman of the Senior Staff Association of the VRA, Theophilus Tete Ahia, alleged that this merger will lead to the transfer of thermal assets of these entities to a private entity, will lead to an increase in cost of power, which will not inure to the benefits of Ghanaians.
Well, we don't know whether we can say that we do not trust the minister, but we hope that he will do the needful to withdraw those bills, because they are not to serve the purpose and also to save Ghanaians from the current situation in which we are. Look, ECG's bill is billed by the IPPs in dollars. ECG sell the power to Ghanaians in cedis. So ECG's problem currently, as you are aware, the paper PURC wrote to the government on ECG almost nearing bankruptcy, is because we are having a lot of foreign exchange losses. And that is what is impacting. The problem is that how do we resolve this problem? And it is not about selling VRA assets. If we finish selling, what we mean is that 75% of our energy demand in this country will be in the hands of private people. And what will be the result? Whenever they get up that we are fed up, you are owing us, they will shut down just like Azogle has done. And we are saying that the good people of this country must listen to us. They should support us to resist this measure, which is intended to sell the asset of VRA.
Meanwhile, the African Center for Energy Police is predicting that current power challenges may get worse following the decision by Sonon Asogli to cut power supply due to government indebtedness. We're able to speak to policy lead petroleum and conversational energy at ASAP Kojo Yauche, but we'll bring you that conversation subsequently. But let's do sports now with Jones Haji.
Jones Haji is the name. All right, so the Black Stars legend and former under-20 World Cup winner Emmanuel Ajimambedu has questioned the commitment of the Black Stars. Now, he was speaking on the game on GH1 TV, and he lamented the current crop of players in the Black Stars that they lack passion and commitment. Let's get to listen to Ajimambedu.
I am getting tired, I'm getting frustrated, and it seems like I will become a very bad person. Because for the past 5 years, I have been talking, and it seems it comes to a time I don't even know what to say again. Then the question is, you go back, what is the problem? What is this? What is this? The problem is the one we have been advocating for.
All right, Juventus midfielder Paul Pogba says he's not a cheater, but accepted responsibility for the failed doping test that led to his ban from football. Pogba's 4-year ban was reduced to 18 months earlier this month after the Court of Arbitration for Sports accepted his ingestion of a banned substance was not intentional. The 31-year-old was suspended by Italy's National Anti-Doping Test Tribunal in February after a drugs test. Now, speaking on his return to football, Pogba says he'll be back with more determination and motivation to play until the end of his career.
That will come. We will see with the training. Obviously, it's always tough, after a long time to train by yourself and then join. You don't want to kill yourself, obviously. But I have to be ready, and I trained for that, and I kept training for this moment to be ready. So I'm not in a big gap with the other guys, but knowing that the other guys been playing and training for a long period, so I will obviously take time, and I know that, I realize it. But I always motivate myself, and I want to be ready and play, man.
And with Paul Pogba, that'll be all for sports this afternoon. My name is Jones Haji.
Thank you for bringing us those sports updates. But before we take leave of you, EIB Network has released a press statement strongly condemning the violent attack on our legal affairs correspondent Murtala Inusa by supporters of Bishop Elijah Salifu Amako at the High Court in Accra. This unprovoked and unacceptable assault occurred during Murtala's coverage of the ongoing trial involving the embattled prophet and his wife, Muha Amwako, parents of a 16-year-old alleged to have caused a tragic crash on Saturday, October 12, 2024. Now, the press statement further says that EIB Network calls on the Ghana Police Service to take swift and decisive action to investigate this incident and bring the perpetrators to justice. Attacks on journalists must not be tolerated under any circumstances. The safety and security of media professionals should be safeguarded to allow them to carry out their essential duties without fear of reprisal. We urge all parties involved in this case, as well as the public, to respect the rule of law and the rights of the press. We also appeal to media organizations and civil society groups to join us in condemning this violent attack and standing in solidarity with Murtala Inusa and all journalists who face such risk in the cause of their work. This is signed by the management of EIB Network. This is how we wrap up this edition of Star Midday News on Star 103.5 FM. I am Nadima Umar Uthman. But for more news, log on to starfm.com.gh. Good afternoon.